Well, welcome and hello, wherever you're watching us, whenever you're watching us, because it could be morning, noon, or night. And we're just happy you're here because we're going to be talking about one of our favorite subjects on this channel, spirit communication. In fact, I think that's kind of all we talk about in one form or the other. So this class we're teaching you today, tonight, this morning, whatever, whenever you're watching, as I said, is kind of a follow-up to the class we taught last week. So if you didn't watch it, that's fine. I will link it to this video later, but you wanna check that out. Spirit communication made simple. Okay, I'm going to review that a bit, but don't worry, I'm not going to go cover the whole thing again. Just the highlights that we need, because I want to lead you through connecting. Because I realized a big oops with that class is that I actually wanted to lead you through this, but we ran out of time. So I thought we need to follow up. So we're going to do this now. And the good thing is, and you can come back to this video, which I encourage you to do, rewatch it. When we get to the part of where I lead you through communicating, and just practice, okay? Just practice. That really is the key to spirit communication, is practice. But even before that, though, we have talked about a few things, because it's your belief that you can even do this that is going to create the experience for you. Because if you don't believe, if you have a lot of doubt, that's basically going to create kind of like I want to say a wall, because that's a little too strong of a metaphor, but it's like disruption, right? Like static. So the communication isn't going to be clear. It's not going to be stable. It could ebb and flow. And therefore, when that happens, you could just shrug it off and go, well, that's nothing. Like, I made it up. So your lack of belief, your lack of trust, and basically your belief system, that's going to determine your success or failure, and or whether you experience something in between. So the more you can really line up your beliefs behind this, that's critical. If you can do that, then you allow the other side to come through more easily to you, and therefore proving to you that yes, indeed, you are communicating with them. Right? I didn't myself understand that spirit communication was possible until I learned how to channel. I'm going to go more into that today if we have time, and then maybe in another class. But I was astonished when I got a clear message that I knew it wasn't me come into my head. And this is the key: if it comes like out of nowhere, that is not your conscious mind, folks. Conscious mind does not function that way. It doesn't all of a sudden tell you something like I heard when I was driving a little too fast late at night, and I'm feeling really happy, singing along to the radio, and I heard this voice, not voice, but the message come in, there's a cop up ahead. Why would I be thinking that? I was just thinking, I was so happy, I was just singing along to the music, and I clearly got the message in my mind, there was a cop up ahead, and sure enough, there was a cop up ahead. And if I had listened to that voice, I wouldn't have gotten a ticket. But silly me, I was like, oh, I must be making that up. And I got a ticket. Don't let that happen to you. This is how the other side, including your loved ones, including your guides, they're trying to help us. And when we're in that relaxed state, like I was driving, that relaxed state opens the door to spirit communication. Okay, so driving is one way to connect and have contact, communication, conversation with the other side. Again, whether that's your guide or your loved one, makes no difference. Spirit communication is spirit communication. It's actually easier for your loved ones to come through because they are so connected to you through the bonds of love that we share. Right. So let's just get into this right away. And that's why I want to emphasize what I said last time, that it's really easy for spirits to put thoughts into our minds. Like I just told you, driving along and hear this message, and I've heard it since then, like be careful and things like that. That can and does happen to lots of people. I know that because I've worked as a spiritual counselor, intuitive channel for over 35 years now, and I've constantly had clients tell me that. when I'd ask them, did you ever feel like you had communication from a spirit, like a guide or loved one? Oh, yeah. They'll go, oh, yeah. But I thought I was making it up. But you're not going to do that anymore after today. Okay? Promise. You promise me? Just trust, just believe, give them a chance to come through. If you don't give them a chance to come through, they can't come through. It's down to us. This is not a passive experience where you just say, sit in lotus position and go, okay, you know, like talk to me. You have to have a positive mindset. That's like number one. So here are the 4 simple steps. I'm gonna go through them one by one, and then I want to lead you through it. Okay, so just bear with me. But the first thing I want you to do that I didn't talk about last time is, in order to get into a deeply relaxed state, and that is key, that you're relaxed. Okay. That's why when you're driving, like, and if you're singing along to a song, you're probably relaxed, they can get a message in. Your loved one can get a message in. So we should listen. But if you're not doing that, because you can't always be driving, having spirit communication, but if you aren't doing that, then what can help is an affirmation. And this is one we use all the time with our academy students, and what I use in our Bridge to Heaven sessions, where I guide people to connect with their loved ones on the other side, or even a guide that they want to connect with. So we actually guide them to go into that state by affirming, first of all, so they get relaxed, by affirming this statement: I am one with all that is. I'm one with all that is. And we're going to lead you through that in a minute, but I just want to drop that affirmation for you to come back to, or write it down, or whatever you got to do, because this one works, folks. This one will put you into a deeply relaxed state. And the more you do it, more often you do it, it's like you're going to train your mind, your brain, to just say, all right, when I hear this, I relax. Now, the reason this statement works, there's a reason. This statement is basically saying that I am one with God and all that is, or whatever your definition of God is. Could be your universe, consciousness, source. It doesn't matter. Creator, doesn't matter. All these are all names for the same thing. But when you affirm something, that thought is created instantly. And in this case, when you repeat it in your mind to yourself, your body hears this, which is the truth, by the way, and it immediately goes into a relaxed state, or begins to, depending where you're starting from, right? If you're really agitated, it's going to take a little bit. I stumbled upon this when I had a unexpected panic attack when I was at the dentist. Never had one before in my life. And I suddenly felt like I was going to pull everything out of my mouth that they had in and start screaming. I was literally going to start screaming. And my guide said to me, say, I am one with all that is. And I forgot that I had used this statement, this very statement, to connect to my guides when I'd learned to channel, because that was the affirmation that I got guided to use to connect with spirit. So I repeated that to myself because I had no other option except for pulling everything out of my mouth and screaming. And I immediately felt my body calm down. Immediately. Within 30 seconds, I was relaxed. Within a minute, there was no tension in my body at all. And so we use this with our students, with our clients. And I want you to practice it. I've had lots of people tell me this helps them chill out, like when nothing else does. So use it. If you don't use it, it's not going to work. So practice using it, and then let it come back and let us know around this video, right? But we're going to use this today. I'm going to walk you through it. But this is important. Once you're in a relaxed state, then you're going to go to the next step, which is you're going to invite the other side to be with you. Whether that's a guide, whether that's your loved one, your angels, doesn't matter, all the same. You just either can hold, let's say, the image of your loved one in your mind, or call out to them. In my case, it would be my husband, Alan. I'd go, Alan, I want to connect with you. Whatever you want to say it like they're there with you, because guess what? They are there with you. And they'll hear you, because they will pick up on that. So you ask them to come in, and you stay in that relaxed state, right? You just hold that intention, hold that vision. Next step is you're going to ask a question or maybe make a request, right? You're going to ask them something you want to know. Could be as simple as just tell me how you are. Or if it's a guide, you might reach out to your guide and say, how am I doing? How am I doing? Like, how am I doing in my life? Or you could make a request. You could say this, help me feel your presence. Help me feel your love. Give me a sign physically. Whatever you want to ask, right? You're going to ask. And after that, the next step, is might seem really like obvious, but you've got to notice whatever happens next, immediately next. I mean, the next second. And it's not necessarily going to be coming in the way that you may expect or think. It may come physically, like you get a sensation, like the answer comes to sensation, emotional sensation, physical sensation. It may come as a knowing. You just know something that you didn't know before, you weren't thinking before. You might hear something, like hear a message audibly or get it coming into your mind, right? You might see something in your mind's eye, a symbol, a vision, a face, whatever. You're just going to notice whatever happens next and take that, even if you don't understand it. Okay. Recognize that something happened. Even if you might even say to yourself, well, I don't know if something happened, but I think something happened. Then claim that. I think something happened. Own that. When you own that experience, then it can grow. Like next time, you'll have more. If instead your reaction was, "Oh, I made it all up," you're basically now closing everything down. You're basically closing the door to their side. You're kind of, I mean, it sounds kind of dramatic, but my husband's saying it's like you're slamming the door in their face. Oh, I'm making it up. That's really what he says. That is what you're doing energetically. You're pinching off your connection to the spirit world with that immediate thought of doubt, because that's what thoughts do. They manifest instantly. So as soon as you say, I think I'm making it up, that thought becomes real, and that's it. So if you want communication, you've got to stop thinking those thoughts. You have to understand that that's your conscious physical mind that's programmed to doubt what it does not understand. And it's unlikely that it ever will accept that you're communicating with something that the physical mind doesn't see or understand, because it's not programmed for that. It's programmed for the 3D world. It's not programmed to perceive the non-physical. So stop expecting it to. Stop expecting your conscious mind to accept this extraordinary experience of communication and relationships through the veil. The most you can hope for is that it'll just quiet down. It'll just calm down, and it won't be stridently putting up these words of like, what are you doing? What are you doing? This doesn't make sense, or you're making it up. That's where that's coming from. It doesn't mean what it's saying is true. It's doing its job to warn you of what it does not understand. You have to reach for a higher mind, which has the broader perspective, which is completely psychic, because that's you too. If you want to connect with a loved one on the other side, you've got to be more aligned with their energy. You've got to be connected to your higher mind, because they are. If you're not, it's going to be really tough. It just is. And this is not as hard as you may think. It isn't. Just keep believing, keep affirming, practice, because we're going to lead you through that in a minute, right? So, but that's the thing you have to understand, that trust whatever happens. Next thing, just own it. That's it, even if you're not sure. All right. And then at this fourth step, it's really important too, then write it down. So if you're not sure of what happened, maybe it was something strange, right? Like, that's okay. Writing it down makes it real in the physical world. Because we live in a 3D world, we need to make it more concrete. Otherwise, you have these experiences and you will be in a sort of light trance. Some of you may be a deep trance, and you'll have experience, and then you'll go, afterwards, you go, what happened? Like, I don't remember what happened, because you were in that trance state. It's really easy to go into a trance state, folks. You go in and out of them, some of you all the time, and you don't even realize it. But that's the nature of human consciousness, right? So you want to write it down. Keep a journal, a notebook, something. I would suggest if it's communicating with your guides or especially your loved one, you make it some nice looking journal, right? Right? Like if you're a woman, you might make a pretty journal, like a beautiful journal, and make that special to you that this is because it should be. It's your communication with a loved one or a partner. Isn't that the most special communication of all? So write down in that. Or if you want to keep a digital journal, there are lots of online digital journals. I have one. You can look it up. You'll find free ones you can use, but write it down. And if it's something happened and you don't understand what it was, you're going, huh? What? Write it down anyway. Say, I'm not sure something happened, but I know something happened. Don't dismiss it, right? Don't reject it. I'm not sure what happened, but I know something happened. And then try again. Maybe later that day, tomorrow, the next day, whatever. Don't give up. The only way you fail at spirit communication is if you quit, is if you just don't continue. It it's just that way. Obviously, if you don't do something, nothing's going to happen. So we have to just hold steady with this. And I challenge you to do what we're going to lead you to do in a minute for at least 30 days. And you come back here and you tell me nothing happened. We didn't have some experience. And the reason I'm confident saying that is that I know the spirit world is getting stronger. And all of us collectively are becoming stronger too. So the communication is being enhanced. It's just going to increase, and you'll see that. So let's get through the practice now. Okay, so I want to spend time on that. And because we're live streaming, and I'm not looking at the chat right now, but I want to see if there's questions there. But right now, I want to just get to what we're going to do here. Okay, so if you want to grab pen and paper right now, go ahead. I'll talk a little bit longer. And if not, that's okay, because you can come back and watch this again, right? So no worries either way. If you just want to sit back and just watch as I lead you through it, it's fine, because you can watch this video again. And in fact, I recommend you watch it over and over again. We're holding the space energetically for you. Your loved ones are too. They're all coming together with us to hold the space so that everyone can connect. So this space will be here for you whenever you watch it again. So first, let's affirm together. Okay, I want you to affirm. It helps if you do it with your eyes closed, only because you go into a deep relaxed state when you do that. And even when we do this exercise, yeah, it'll help if you close your eyes. When you close your eyes, you're immediately in alpha state. You're immediately in a relaxed state. Okay, and that's the minimum we want to be in. You don't have to go deeper than that. You might find that you end up going deeper than that. That's fine. But you don't have to go any deeper than alpha to begin to communicate. Right. So let's close our eyes. Get comfortable wherever you are. Do your best, or just follow, watch along if you can't really get comfortable wherever you are. And take some deep cleansing breaths. So breathe along with me. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth a few times. And with each breath you take, you're getting more and more relaxed. Take another breath in and exhale. And now I want you to begin to affirm over and over, I am one with all that is. 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 And just feel your body relaxing. Allow those words to go into every cell of your body. I am one with all that is. I am one with all that is. I am one with all that is. And just keep affirming for a few more moments. I am one with all that is. I am one with all that is. And feel the relaxation pouring over you. Feel the waves of relaxation flooding your body as you affirm, I am one with all that is. I am one with all that is. And now, in your mind, call out to whoever it is in the spirit world that you want to connect with. Call them to you by name or hold their image in your mind's eye, whichever way you want to. Call them to you. They're always simply a thought away. And whether you feel their presence or not, know that they are with you. And now, ask your question or make your request. What would you like their help with? Or what would you like them to do right now in this moment? Would you like them to help you feel them, feel their energy, feel their love? Ask them for a message or ask a question. It doesn't matter what you do. And then notice whatever happens next. And just stay with it. And if you're having some confusion about what you're seeing or experiencing or hearing, ask. Know that communication is interactive, isn't it? If you're with a friend, you ask them, I don't understand what you just said. Can you tell me again? So it is with the spirit world. And if you have pen and paper and you want to write it down, go to the next step, step 4, write down what you got, or journal what you experienced. Again, just notice whatever you notice. It is that simple. So simple, that's why most people never take advantage of it. That's why most people think they have to take courses and read lots of books. Nothing saying anything against that by any means, but it's not about that. It isn't. It just isn't. There are lots of people having spirit communication that never read a single book on the subject and never took a single class. And they weren't born profoundly psychic. They just don't have any limiting beliefs. It's the limiting beliefs that the spirit world has to navigate and creates obstacles to their communication. So those who are open, without fear, who trust, they're like an open door that the other side can come through. And if you're not like that, that's okay. You can learn to clear that. This is your birthright because you are a spirit. Therefore, because we're all spirits, of course we can have communication with the spirit world. We are part of the spirit world. So if any of you want to share what you experienced, please go right ahead. Some of you are probably just zoning out, like being in the energy. That's okay too. But yes, if you want to share what you experienced, go right ahead and write about it. Post in the comments if you're watching this later on YouTube or in the live chat, write post there, whatever you want to do. When we write things down, we make them real in the physical world. Otherwise, it's just all internal. Doesn't mean it's not real, like what you experienced wasn't real. But when you write it down, you are making it viscerally, physically real because the words make it real. You're writing it makes it real. That's so. Okay, so there's power in recording your experiences, if just for you. So go ahead and share. Okay, and if it's your first time watching and if you're nervous, don't be nervous. Nothing to be nervous about. Just relax. Some of you are still in that zone. I can feel it. So I don't want to take you out. Okay. I'm gonna keep talking, and I want you to stay in that blended state because this is what it is. Spirit communication is like a blending. No, they're not hijacking our body. This is not like the movie Ghost, where the entities are jumping into our body. That's not like that at all. That is not channeling. That's not mediumship. No, it's a blending. Okay, it's a blending of our energies together. And we actually do that with each other all the time. When you get together with a friend, you kind of blend your energies in order to communicate. This is a beautiful thing. It's done from love. Okay, so it is the spirit world blends with us, and we can start to know and feel and sense. Okay, and when it's a partner, it can be especially powerful, especially intense, and even physically, let's say, intimate. Okay, let's just be real here, it can be because of the bond, the heart bond, and the deep love bond. There. So this is something anyone can experience, assuming they have let go of their limiting beliefs and fears and just relax and trust, right? So while some of you are still in that state, I don't want to fully pull you out of it, like I said. So I just want all of us to go back into our heart space and just feel that love that is there for us from the other side, all the love that they have for us. I just want you to focus your intention, if you're comfortable with it, opening your heart as wide as you can, using the power of your intention, so that you can feel the love that surrounds you now, that is always there for you, but that you're sometimes just rather detached from because you're more focused in your physical conscious mind. Right now, for this time together, I'd like you to expand and just have intention. You're connecting with your higher self. You're being all that you are, not just your ego personality self. You're being your higher self as well. That's the key if we want spirit communication. So feel the love they have for you. I want you to think in your mind of all the people you love, whether they're still in a body or not, right? Doesn't matter. All the people you love, I want you to see them in your mind and see their heart space and feel the love that they have for you. It's a real thing. It's the only thing that is real, actually, because the personality that they are is not, it's just temporary. The love that they are, the love that they have for you is eternal, is the soul truth, and can never be destroyed. It is indestructible, it is eternal. So think of the people you love, feel their love for you, even someone that you may be having difficulties with right now. That's just the ego personality selves of both of you that are having right now a little bit of struggle. But the reality is the love that you have for each other is always going to be there. And whatever has seemed to go wrong will be all forgotten in due time, whether it's in this life or when you cross over to the other side. So just feel the love. Think of the people you love the most. If you love them, I promise you, they love you, even if they're not displaying that, showing that right now. The reason they're not doing that is because they're distorted right now. They're stuck in their ego, in their personality. So, again, that's a temporary part of them. That's not the real them. Okay. That's just like the role they're playing in this life, in this movie. So, you want to see through that. Now, if this person is abusive to you, I'm not saying you should let them back into your life because you're living this movie with them right now. And right now, they could be toxic. So you probably need to keep away. But the love is real. The love is who they truly are. So feel that as best you can. So great to see everybody in the chat saying hi to everybody. All right. All right. Welcome. And if you're watching later, please comment and let me know how this works for you. Okay. Especially feeling that love. And take a breath in now. And I would like you to set the intention that you're integrating this experience into your physical body, into your life, so that you can apply it, so you can live from it, so it becomes part of your, your way of being in the world. Okay. We have a lot more to say about partner relationships. We'll probably do that next time, next class, next Saturday, because it'll be the week of Valentine's Day. And the week of Valentine's, we're actually going to be doing a promotion, giving our ebook away for free, beginning Valentine's Day. And if you guys are watching, people watching this later, this is Valentine's Day of 2024. so if you're watching this a year later, it may not be happening. But February 14th, February 14th, this year, 2024, will mark the 1-year anniversary of the publication of our book, Supernatural Love, A True Story of Life and Love After Death. So we're going to celebrate by doing an ebook giveaway. So it'll be completely free for 5 days. So grab that when you see it. We'll be announcing that. Right. So, but this really is as simple as communication is. Really. When I learned to channel back in 1987, was 37 years ago. I can't believe it. 37 years ago, more than half of my life I've been channeling now. So when I learned how to channel and I just got messages and I wasn't doubting them at all, and I didn't really care actually because it felt so amazing. I felt so much love from the other side that I became addicted to it, addicted to that connection. It wasn't for me even about the information. It was more like the experience was so heart expansive, was so positive, uplifting, and blissful that I just couldn't get enough of it. But even I was shocked when the day after I took my class, I finished my training and I spend the day on the beach just to relax. And I kept getting this message. And I knew it wasn't me because the message was saying, ask your parents to move out of the house. I was living with my parents at the time. And I thought, huh? Like, that makes no sense. Why would I do that? My parents lived in a very simple single level house in Lani Kai. If you're not familiar with Lani Kai on the island of Oahu, it's now one of the most expensive areas of Oahu to live. Maybe all of Oahu is expensive to live, but Lani Kai, yeah, there are mansions here now. And back then, not many people lived out where I lived in Lanikai because it was a far drive in those days. So my family was middle class at the time when they bought the house. And but the house they lived in from when I was like 4 years old. And at the time this was happening to me, I believe I was 35 years old. So why would my parents move out of their house that they had lived in all that time? But the message was really clear, and I knew it wasn't me because I kept pushing it aside. I'd go, well, that makes no sense. And it was insistent. I just kept getting the words come into my mind. Okay, it wasn't a voice, so I want you to be clear. When you hear spirits, not like you hear a voice out here. I have heard voices out here before, but that's very rare for me. It was internal. It was like a message that kept looping. Ask your parents to move out of the house. Ask your parents to move out of the house. And I wouldn't stop. And as I walked up to the door of the house, it got strong. It kept repeating. Ask your parents to move out of the house. So when I opened the door and walked in, my parents were sitting on the sofa in the living room. And I said, okay, guys, this is going to sound completely crazy, but have you ever considered moving out of this house? My mom looked at me, looked at my dad, and she goes, how do you know we were just talking about that? I said, what? What? She says, yeah, your father and I were talking about how your dad, he's getting older now. I think back then he was in his late 60s and he was still working. He loved his work. And he worked in Honolulu. We lived in Lanikai, which is a suburb. And at that time, it's considered a long commute, like 30, 40-minute commute, which he'd done all of that time. And she says, he's getting tired of driving. And so your dad would like to move to be closer to work. I said, oh, okay. She says, but do you think, Pam, that you could get roommates? I said, roommates? Well, I had just taken this class on channeling, had met some people, and I immediately heard myself say without thinking, okay, sure, sure, I can find roommates. Later, I thought, oh, what the heck am I doing? I don't know anybody who'd be roommate. I mean, how am I going to do this, right? So, but this is how the universe works, everybody. There's no accidents. Everything is synchronicity. Everything is orchestrated. So I I told my parents, sure, I'll find roommates. And I was like, I don't know, next day I called up the gal that had taken the workshop with me, the channeling workshop, and I said, I don't know what to do. My parents want to move out of the house and they want me to find roommates, but I don't know anybody. She says, oh, don't you remember the gal who was in the class with us? She's a flight attendant and she's talked about how she wants to live in Lanikai. You need to call her. She's a lovely person. And I said, oh yeah, she really was, or is. And I called her up and she goes, I'll take it. Sight unseen. She goes, I'll take it. You have a room and your house is in Lanikai. I'll take it. So I had one roommate. And then I went back to work. I was working at a waitress at the time. And somehow I asked around and this gal that I worked with me, she said, yeah, I want to live in Kailua. I'm living somewhere right now, but I don't like it there. I'll take the other room. So within 48 hours, I had two roommates. And I knew that was orchestrated by their side. And people that I worked with actually thought I was a witch because whose parents move out of a house in Lanikai that has a spectacular ocean view that is in this prime location, okay? And it is or was. They thought that I had somehow just wave my wand. But that is what happens. And clearly, my guides were not telling me to ask my parents because me asking them was going to make them move out of the house. They were just giving me a lesson that they're talking to me. And it wasn't lost on me. And I said, right. You are always guiding me. And they go, yes. Now, we're not always going to talk to you like that. And spirit doesn't. Your loved ones won't. Your guys won't. They're not always going to be, well, okay, I have to correct myself. My husband, since he crossed over, he is talking to me all the time. But that's because that's our agreement, okay? That I said, I want you to talk to me all the time because he didn't talk to me as much when he was in a body. He was rather shut down. And so he's changing the dynamic of that. And part of it, therefore, is for him to be communicating with me pretty much on an ongoing basis, not intrusively, but when I need him, he's right there and he's giving me advice. Right. But for most of you, if you're talking about your spirit guides, they're not going to be like always talking because they know that you're here to live your life. You're here to make your choices. But if you're about to make a big mistake or something could be avoided, like, like the advice of, hey, there's a cop up ahead, they'll give that to you. Okay. That happens to people. Sometimes spirit will intervene, like physically make something happen. I've had that happen too. Recently, I had the experience when I was on the big island of Hawaii, yeah, by the volcano that I don't think I've even told anybody this, but I was walking along this path trying to go to this, I can't explain it, to get closer to the volcano. And I felt myself losing, um, I don't know how to explain it, like I was about to trip. I could feel it, like I was gonna like fall down. And I know it was Alan, I could feel him pull me up like, whoa. I was about to go down and I would have hit my knee really bad. And I could feel this energy pull me back up and kind of put myself right. And I said, thank you, honey, because I know he does things like that for me. And they can do things like that for you. Okay. We are meant to have interaction with the spirit world. We can, but we have to believe. So practice this exercise. Okay. Practice it. Get yourself into that relaxed state. Be sure you're deeply relaxed. The more deeply relaxed you are, the better. Understand that when you're in a relaxed state, you can see them, feel them, hear them. And when I say see, I don't mean see like a movie, okay? I mean like you could start getting visual things in your mind's eye, flashes of things. That's all clairvoyance. A lot of you are having clairvoyant experiences and you're discounting it. You're thinking you're making it up when you're not. You think that clairvoyance is like what you see in a movie. It's not like that, everybody. It's not like physical. It's not crystal clear. I mean, it can be at times, don't get me wrong, but it usually isn't. It's usually very subtle. It's like an overlay. Like when was talking to a woman a while ago and in person, and she was telling me about her dad who had died. And I certainly got this impression, a flash of a man with a baseball cap on his head. That's all I could describe it as. And I said, did your dad wear baseball caps? She goes, no, no. And I thought, okay, like I didn't care because I wasn't attached to it. I just know what I saw. And I let it go. Well, I was working at a store at the time and she was a customer. So she called the store later, about 30 minutes later, asked for me. She goes, hi, I don't know if you remember, you were talking to me about my dad who had passed away. And I said, oh yeah, I remember you. She goes, I just had to tell you that you were right. And I go, what do you mean? Right about what? She goes, you said that you asked if he wore baseball caps. And I said, no. She says, I forgot. At the end of his life, he had cancer. So he wore baseball caps all the time to cover up his bald head. I just wanted you to know that you were right. And I said, okay. But again, I wasn't attached to it. I knew what I saw. It was a flash. It wasn't like I saw her dad crystal clear. I couldn't make out his face or anything. I just knew I saw a man with a baseball cap on. That's it. And that's what I told her. And it was right. He was trying to confirm to her that he was with her. You will have things like that happen where you'll get a sense of like, oh, he's standing here, and you go, huh? Like, why do I suddenly have this impression that my loved one is standing here or that they're standing behind me or whatever it is that I'm flashing on in my mind? And again, really briefly, that is them. You're picking up on them because they're there. And when they're there, if you're in a relaxed enough state, you can perceive. You've got to start paying attention, folks, if you want that communication. and trusting what you experience. That's going to be your biggest challenge, but you can deal with it. You can conquer it. It's only a challenge. It's not a problem. It's not a problem at all. So just trust, believe, practice. Let us know what happens. All right, share it here. Come back to the comments. Watch this again. Let us know. It will take time. Okay, persevere. Keep going. The only way we fail is if we give up. So just don't. Just decide you're not. Okay. And if you have had contact with a loved one in spirit, share it here. Write about it. What did we say? That writing about something makes it real. You want more contact with your loved ones on the other side or your guides? Write about it. What we talk about, what we express, okay, what we write becomes bigger. When we put our attention on something and think about it, it gets bigger. When we ignore it, when we don't think about it, it doesn't. It just doesn't. Our attention and our words and our thoughts give it life, give it energy, make it grow and expand, become bigger. So talk about it. Come back to this comment thread, write every day if you want to, and watch what happens. And this is what I'm hearing from the spirit world. We're here for you. We want to love and support you. You've got to open the door and let us in. You've got to let go of your distrust and your fears, because a lot of people are afraid of the paranormal. They've been programmed to fear it. And the media case, of course, makes it really easy to fear the unknown. But the truth is, the other side is only love and only oneness. So you have nothing to fear but your own fears, which you will manifest unless you release them. So decide if you want to release them or not. You know, the choice is yours, but your experience is going to reflect your decision. Let go your doubts, trust and believe. That's how you strengthen your connection to the other side. So if you haven't done already, subscribe, like, share, and comment, okay, here to this video, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our class for next week. So we are going to talk about love through the veil. Don't worry, it's going to be PG-13. It's not going to. We're saving the R-rated for our academy, where we're going to have a class, special Valentine's Day class for that. But Saturday, we'll keep it PG, or let's say we'll try, but we'll talk about love through the veil, because that is a real thing. You would be astonished to hear about the experiences that ordinary people like you and me are having contact and continue their relationships after death, because there is no death. And they are a consciousness that can interact with us and communicate with us and even make us feel things physically. And I don't mean this kind, right? I don't mean like with a hand or a body, but there's other ways to feel things, folks. There's other ways to have contact that you don't need a body for, because we're energy beings, and the energy can be felt and experienced in profound ways. This is a life-altering experience, a relationship through the veil. It can transform you, it can uplift you, and it spiritually will awaken you, okay, like nothing else. I think this surpasses a near-death experience, to be honest with you. And it doesn't have any negative side effect compared to an NDE. So if you're interested, then go all in. Watch our other videos on this channel and subscribe to our channel so that you can get notified when we go live every Saturday. You don't want to miss it. And if you do miss it, it's cool. Then come back and watch it. Just come back and watch it. Okay, come back and watch it. All right, we're going to get out of here now. Alan's like pulling at me. He'll turn the computer off if I'm not careful. So we love all of you. Thanks for your comments. Let us know what you experience in the exercise, you know, and especially when you do it again. Okay, maybe we need to do a 30-day challenge, like go do this practice every day for 30 days report every day what you experienced. Oh, today this happened. The next day you write, oh, today this happened, right? Yeah, when you chronicle it like that, you would be surprised what would happen because you're taking the time to do it, but you're also making note of it. Because, like I said, what you write about, makes it real and then it grows, right? That is incredibly powerful. So please, please do that. Let us know how it goes for you. Until next time, take care. And we hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Right. Bye bye now.